What is going on, guys? So it's been a while since I've done like an unfiltered, minimally cut video on this channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the iPhone Air in particular because I do think this product needs to have some type of conversation around it because I think some people are kind of missing the point of why the iPhone Air exists. I've done this in the past, specifically about the Google Pixel 7, which was more so on the negative side, but I've also done this on the MacBook Air as well as the MacBook Pro and other products on this channel. Most recent one being the MacBook Pro, telling people that they don't necessarily need the super high spec one. They'll be completely fine with the MacBook Air. However, the iPhone Air is a little bit different because there's another player in the room that is just as good, but there still is a target audience for the iPhone Air that I want to talk about. You know who the target audience is for this video? Our sponsor, nobody. So just to disclose a couple things, I'm definitely not reading from a teleprompter or anything like that. I have a Pixel 10 Pro here, fantastic device, on some notes just so I keep track on my thoughts and I don't ramble on for like an hour and a half. I don't think you guys want to listen to me for an hour and a half, especially unfiltered, but the iPhone Air, let's just jump right into it, right? So the iPhone Air, why are people complaining about this device? And then why are there people that love this device? Isn't it funny how there's always two sides to a coin? So why do people hate this device? I am going to argue both sides, or at least I'm going to give you the perspective of both sides on why people are unhappy, but also happy. Let's start off with the unhappy first. So this is why I'm specifically unhappy, but I'll also get into the points of why other people are unhappy. The iPhone 17 exists. That's why I'm upset about the iPhone Air. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And that's because price. Price, to me, is always the first question I ask when anyone asks my advice on what they should get. What is your budget, or how much are you willing to spend? And what are you trying to get out for your dollar? The iPhone Air and where it's positioned in the iPhone lineup, I just don't think is worth it for a lot of people. Because the iPhone 17 by itself, mind you, just to disclose another thing, I haven't even unboxed the iPhone 17, but the spec sheet and what it offers, I already know the iPhone 17 it can be a better product than the iPhone Air. I don't want to say it is, because for some people, that's not what they're looking for. With that being said though, for $1,000, $200 extra here in the States, elsewhere in the world it might be a bigger price gap. I just don't think it's worth it for what you're getting yourself into. And I think that's what some people are missing the point on the other side of why people love it. It's because as a reviewer, it is actually my job to give people the most objective advice that is good for the vast majority of people. Vast majority, I gotta stop saying that. It's just majority of people. Anyway, the iPhone Air, is it $200 better than the 17? And the conclusion that I'm coming to is no. Because if the iPhone 17 is basically the 16 Pro from last year, but better in some aspects, I mean, you're missing the cameras, but I would say the iPhone Air is not better than the 16 Pro. Like, I'd still pick up the 16 Pro over the iPhone Air. That's just me. $1,000 is a lot to be asking for, and what that $1,000 price tag is trying to sell you is the thinness and the lightness of the device. Now, this goes into the camp of people that love the device because guess what? That $200 of thinness, lightness, but still getting most of what they want out of a phone, like it's a bigger screen as well. They are saying, yeah, I'm willing to pay that extra $200 to get that Air because I want something different. And I think that's the other thing that is selling this iPhone Air is because through and through, regardless of what you think, this is an iPhone experience, but as a lifestyle, it is also slightly different than what we've been used to for like the past 5 years in the smartphone industry. Because let's be honest, guys, outside of like foldables, not the iPhone, the smartphone industry has been pretty, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's basically plateaued, my opinion. But foldables, they've definitely shaken things up with thin and light devices coming out, and we're still getting a pro-like performance in a way because, you know, things do throttle on the Air. Trust me, I know I'm coming from a person who personally uses a MacBook Air. There are trade-offs when going with thin and light, and it's because you're sacrificing those things for that lifestyle difference. You are able to, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're not really being able to do more. It's just things are lighter, it's less of a hassle for you to carry, less things in your pocket, stuff like that. One of the justifications I made in my first impressions video is, if you guys know me, if you don't know me, this might scare you. I like to throw my device around a lot, and that's just a habit I've always had since like 6th grade, ever since I rode the city bus. I don't know, it's a fidgeting thing. I do it all the time, but that in itself just makes the iPhone Air way more enjoyable to use for me versus like spinning and twirling around the Pro phone, even the Pro Max. It's just way too big. I also like to do this with my phones as well, where I like to spin it in my hand. I don't know why my accent changed there. Terrible accent. The Air just makes that way more better for me, but I'm definitely going on a tangent. Where's my Pixel device? I wanted to talk about, yeah, I already talked about the $1,000 price tag, but target audience. And I've said this before in the past for a lot of the videos I make about this, and it's that you have to realize a lot of these products are made in mind for a target audience. And if you are a person on the side that's saying, this is not what I want for my device, guess what? The device probably wasn't made with you in mind, right? If you're asking for, I want good battery life, I want good cameras, I want, I don't know, aluminum, probably not. You're probably one of those people that want the Pro phone. You're probably that Pro target audience that they're asking for. Now, I think it's hard for some companies, I mean, probably not, it's just adding a new SKU, but in terms of logistics, stuff like that, I can understand. They probably just don't want to have a massive amount of SKU of all these different devices that cater to all these different people. There's just general buckets that we have to, accept. And guess what? We have the 17, which is good for a vast amount of people. We have the Air, which is good for people who want a thin and light device. And then we have people who want just the best of the best. And they are people, this is important when it comes to target audience, those people are willing to pay the most for that experience. Okay, I don't know what you're doing AirDrop, but you're distracting me. Those people are willing to pay the most for that experience, right? Like when I was in high school and like people were buying, I don't even know, like the Plus models or like the Pro Max models, I'm just like, why are people paying so much more? And I realized, like, hey, I'm just not that target audience. Like, I just don't got money like that. I don't got. There are people that just $1,400, $1,500 max out the device. That's theirs. Not a lot of people are buying like 512 terabyte iPhones, but there are people out there for the Pro models that need all that. Those people don't exist for the iPhone Air. The people on the iPhone Air just care about the essentials on a phone. But Apple at the same time is still giving you a little bit of like that Pro-like experience because you're still getting a super nice display. It's slightly bigger than the 17. You still have USB-C. I mean, has USB-C. But once again, I don't think the Air would be that big of an issue for me as a reviewer. Once again, if the 17 did not exist, the 17 is just standing there like, I'm basically you, but bigger and cheaper, so just buy me instead. But the iPhone Air is like, I don't have millimeter wave, which to some people doesn't matter. I don't have 3 cameras, which to some people doesn't matter. I don't have, the same battery life as you guys, but doesn't matter. I can't play the high-end games that all these other phones can do because, I just don't have the cooling performance to do that. But some people, doesn't matter, right? $1,000. Those people are willing to pay $200 extra to have a different experience of what they want. And what they want is probably, from my guess, a phone that is thin and light, can do phone calls, lasts majority of the day. I've used this iPhone Air, and trust me, I have battery life written as one of these topic notes. It is a non-issue for me. And I'll get into that later in the video. What else am I missing here? The stereo speakers that don't exist, doesn't matter to them. As long as they have a speaker that is clear and loud enough for them to hear, that's fine. And that's pretty much it. Can it call, text, access the web, access the top 5, 10 apps in each category? If the phone can do that, that's all they care about. And if it looks good and it's thin and light, yeah, Pay an extra $200. I'll do that. Why not? And there some people, like I'm using the iPhone Air currently, and I'm going to be honest, this might be one of my favorite iPhones that I've used because it's a different iPhone experience. It's not the same as the others. The others, while they give you that versatility, it's just like I just don't need this. Even though it's there, I understand. I'm just not the target audience anymore. When I was growing up, when I was jailbreaking phones and stuff like that, I wanted the ultimate iPhone. I honestly just got Android, but I just wanted the ultimate iPhone. And now that I'm older, to be honest, I don't care about that stuff. Just give me a phone that has decent battery life, decent camera, can make phone calls, has good connectivity, call it a day. And if it looks good, that's a plus. I'm willing to pay extra for that. And I think I'm part of this target audience now of the iPhone Air. Now, some people are probably asking, why is the iPhone 13 Pro here? To be honest, I don't even know. Let's move that off to the side. All right, let's talk about battery life, because battery life is a big thing on YouTube. When I say big, I mean big money, okay? And I have opinions about battery life tests on YouTube, and I don't want to go too deep into it in this video. I don't want to discredit anyone that does battery life tests on YouTube, but I do think it kind of exacerbates or exaggerates how much worse a battery is compared to other smartphones in the lineup. Because the reality is, first and foremost, what I want to say is the YouTubers that do those tests, they are giving insight to, I guess, how performant a battery is. But at the same time, I think the comment section and the viewers kind of take it to the extreme, because the iPhone Air is not going to last as long as like the iPhone 17. I am a part of this crew because I don't want to exempt myself from this, right? The day in a life videos, and I say this in my day in a life videos that I actually don't like doing my videos like this. But the other narrative that I get from these day in a life videos are like trying to kill the battery, or what would the battery life be like. But I really don't think it's that real of a representation of what the smartphone is, because especially this flagship phones, they charge so fast, and there's people that, I mean, I'm a culprit of this as well, but there's people that go the entire day without charging their phone, which I really don't think that's realistic. What time is it? Anyway, there's people that don't think that it's realistic, and or basically what I'm saying is it's not realistic because, like, if I'm driving somewhere, there's a charger in my car and I'm going to charge my phone. And on top of that, if I am at work or something, right, I'll probably charge my phone there. The counter argument to this, I understand, is like you don't need to charge your phone as much anymore because the battery just lasts all day. But I just don't really think that's true, right? If you expect to go somewhere, you're probably going to juice up your phone regardless, just to make sure you have a buffer for emergencies. I know a lot of people can probably relate to that. So the whole, did my phone last the entire day without charging? It's a good stat to have, but at the same time, like, charging is so fast. Just charge midday and your phone's going to last you all day, right? You know, even if you get off work, right? When I worked at Target, right? As soon as I got off work, went home, and I like probably went out later that night, I charged my phone at home. 30 minutes is all I need. It's not like I'm going to say, oh, I don't have access to outlets when outlets literally exist everywhere. Anyway, I'm going on a rant. So, yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. So I'm probably just going to chill, watch Netflix for about an hour, do my battery life recap, and that's it. I'm a boring guy. What do you expect? Give me my McDonald's. And it's because there are people who have the idea that as soon as they pick up their phone, and this is, guys, by the way, this is just for videos. People who pick up their phone and they do not touch a charger for the rest of their day. Seeing how far they can get. Now, it is a fun video to make. It does kind of give people a perspective on how long a battery would last without a charger, but charging speeds are so fast nowadays, and battery and efficiency is so good nowadays that I really don't think it's a problem. At least I would say in pretty much developed countries, because if you're in a developed country and you're not like low class poverty, I know some people are going to get upset about that, but you got to realize you probably have access to essentials like power. And honestly speaking, I don't know the last time my 13 Pro died, voluntarily, other than it just having like bad battery life now, because it's not holding the same charge as it did when I first got it. This iPhone Air has gotten me through the day no problem. Why? Because I'm at home at times, and guess what? When I'm at home and I know I'm going somewhere, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna top up for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm pretty much good for the rest of the night. If I forget to charge my phone when I go to sleep, and it's like, hey, I need to go somewhere real quick, I'm gonna plug it in to a charger, get like 20-40% battery, and then I'm off to the races. I don't know why there's this whole conception of like, whatever battery life you get in the morning, that is what you get until you go to sleep. That's just not the reality for most people. And I would ask yourselves that same question. When was the last time you picked up your phone, you're like, I'm intentionally not going to charge it for the rest of the day, and you value that? Doesn't really matter to me. And I haven't cared about that since like 2015, like 10 years ago. That's just me though. If you disagree with me in the comments, by all means, but just keep it cordial is all I'll say. So that's it about battery life. I'll have my day in life video on the iPhone Air. It's got me through the day, no problem. Camera. This is going to be an easy one to talk about. So the camera on the iPhone Air is a trade-off you are taking because you don't care about these other two cameras that you get. You just care about the main one, which I would argue is probably what a lot of people use. So the iPhone Air comes with a Fusion camera. The iPhone 17 Pro comes with a Fusion camera. There's like 8 cameras on this phone. It's so hard to keep up with. So let me just go to camera control. So you have ultra wide, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, technically. The iPhone Air, on the other hand, oops, not that. The iPhone Air, on the other hand, has 1, still has that Fusion camera, and then 2. That's it. The question you should ask yourself is, actually, what I request you guys to do is to go to your Photos app, scroll through, and just look through the history of phones or photos that you've taken for like the past year and see if you've taken anything with the ultra wide or telephoto lens. If the answer comes back not really, or here's what I would say. If you don't use a telephoto, you really don't need the iPhone Pro series. You should just stick to the base models. But if you don't use the ultra wide either, then the iPhone Air is all you really need. You don't need anything more than this main camera. And what I talked about in my first impressions video, what I love the most about this new generation is the front-facing camera, because it's just so good. Once again, just being able to do that is amazing. Same for video, just being able to just have landscape without physically turning the device is amazing. And it's going to make content better for the platform and just in general whenever you record for your family, your friends, or producing content for your viewers. That is what I think a lot of people care about, and I think that is what is selling this iPhone Air. Like, if Apple wasn't able to pull off that front-facing camera, and also being able to engineer everything up here and just have everything down here be the battery, this iPhone Air would not exist. So that's it about the camera. If you don't use the other two lenses, the point is null and void for you. Already talked about the battery life. The Pro. I'm saying Pro, but I'm not giving you guys any context. So, when Apple first announced this iPhone Air, right? They announced the iPhone 17 first. Blew out, I don't know what the phrase is. Blew out the water. I don't know. I'm going to have it down in the comments below or somewhere on the screen. Blew the socks off. I don't know. Something crazy, right? You know those sayings nowadays. The iPhone Air was next, and it was more like a sexy commercial. Like, it's not really about performance, it's about design. And I've got to say, to the people that have used this, that I've shown to like my friends, everyone, the first thing they say is, this is a good looking phone and I like how light it is. Those are the two standout features for this phone. The two standout features that some people are willing to pay for. And the design alone, I mean, you guys know my thoughts. They completely butchered the back of the phone. Everything's pretty much white except for the space black. If they have gold on the back, would have sold out easily. But what was I talking about again? Oh, The Pro. So this, once again, comes back to cost, right? When you come out the gates with a product that is $799 that offers pretty much everything but the 16 Pro did last year for like $1,100 for $799, it's like, what could be next in the lineup other than the Pro? And then the Air showed up, and it was like, okay, why is there one lens? Why is there a smaller battery? Why is there no millimeter wave? Where is my Pro features? They're gone. And it costs more. And I think everyone was expecting what comes after the iPhone 17 to be a Pro phone or Pro-like phone. But the reality is we got the Air. And I really hope Apple doesn't go away with the base models. If they do just have like the iPhone Air and the Pro lineup, I think the Air is going to have to drop in price. And maybe in a couple years that might happen once R&D costs go down. But I'm a little afraid that the $1,000 base price is what we're going to get moving forward in the near future. But let's still celebrate the 17 cost $800 starting price. This is not a Pro phone, and I think people need to wrap their heads around that. This is not trying to be a Pro. This is the iPhone Air, and I'm not part of the marketing team. This is an iPhone Air, and the iPhone Air is doing what the iPhone Air is supposed to do. It's not trying to have 3 lenses. It's not trying to have a big battery. It's not trying to be the ultimate iPhone. It is trying to be a thin and light device that is performant for people to get them through the day and do essential things on the phone. If you are a person who picks up this phone and you're complaining about why does this thing suck playing, I don't know, Fortnite or like the top 5 performant gaming apps like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed, which it can do, that's just not what the iPhone Air is designed for. While Apple is saying you can do it, personally speaking, you're probably not buying the device. You're probably not the target audience for this device. Like I said before, if you're a parent who typically gives their phone over to their kids when you just want them to be occupied by some digital device, you're probably not getting the iPhone Air. Okay, you're probably getting something a little bit more durable like the Pro phone or the base model, but you are definitely not getting the iPhone Air. So that's pretty much what I want to leave it off on, guys. That's what people need to understand, target audience. But the people who are upset, it is warranted. I am on both sides. Like in most things in conversations, I typically kind of lean in the middle because I can understand being upset, right? For $1,000, why am I paying more for a product that simply is worse in some aspects? But there's also people on the other side saying, I don't care about those things. I just want I still want the iPhone experience overall, just thinner and lighter. That's what the Air is. So hopefully you guys understand. If you don't, completely fine. The comment section is open for discourse. Just be respectful, cordial, and listen to the other person if you do disagree with them, and have an open and friendly conversation. Not like Jubilee. Anyway, guys, appreciate everything. Go sub, like, and comment. If you enjoy videos like this, let me know down in the comments below. I will have something later this week or next week about the iPhone 17. Excited to unbox the iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 base model for $899. And just to give you guys a little bit of a teaser, I personally think the Pixel 10 is going to get Phone of the Year. Truly is fantastic personal assistant. Anyway, appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. And as always, guys, much love. Why am I giving you guys a thumbs up? So stupid. Probably no bloopers, by the way, since they're included. So, yeah. Peace.